All right, so you want to really get a handle on English modal verbs for ability.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, we're talking can and could,
Uh-huh.
but also how those relate to phrases like be able to and manage to.
Yeah, those are good ones to focus on.
Yeah, and we want to do it all without, getting lost in the weeds of complicated grammar rules, right? We want to make sure you can use these in real conversations.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're going to deep dive on today.
That's good.
I think we'll be able to help clear up some of those tricky situations
Oh, definitely.
where you're not quite sure which one to use.
Like, should I say could here or was able to better?
Yeah, exactly. Or manage to.
Hmm.
Sometimes it feels like they almost mean the same thing.
Yeah. And there are definitely times they overlap,
Yep.
but we'll unpack all of that.
We'll get to all those nuances so you can speak and understand English better and feel more confident about it.
For sure.
So we're going to be covering how to use these in the present,
Yeah.
the past,
Yeah.
and even like hypothetical situations.
Oh, yeah. Those are always interesting.
Yeah, let's start off with can and could, kind of the basics.
Okay, good place to start.
So, when would you typically use can?
So can is like your basic go-to for talking about what you're able to do right now or in the future. Like
Right.
it's something you're equipped to do.
Got it.
So, like she can speak Spanish very well.
Right.
That's like a skill she has right now in the present.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could say like, can you come with us on Saturday?
Yeah.
You're asking about someone's ability to do something in the future.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
And it's just can't. Simple.
Straightforward.
Easy peasy.
All right. And what about could?
So could is interesting because it's often about general abilities you had in the past.
Okay.
Like not just one specific moment, but over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could say, I could run much faster when I was younger. You're not talking about one particular race or anything.
Yeah.
Just the general capability you had back then.
Yeah, like overall you were a faster runner in the past.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or you might say like, she could play the violin when she was a child.
Oh.
Again, it's a skill she had throughout her childhood, not just like one time she picked up a violin.
Right. It was a consistent ability
Yeah, exactly.
over a long period.
That's a really important thing to remember about could.
Yeah.
That it often has the sense of like a general ability over time.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, okay, we've got can't for present and future.
Yeah.
Could for like general past abilities.
Her past, yeah.
But then we also have be able to.
Right.
And sometimes it seems like you could use can or be able to.
Totally.
Or could or was able to.
Yeah, there's definitely overlap.
Like, is there really any difference there?
So in a lot of cases, can and be able to have the same meaning.
Okay.
Like in the present tense, you could say she can speak Spanish very well.
Right.
But you could also say she is able to speak Spanish very well.
Uh-huh.
The meaning is basically the same.
And it's the same with could?
Yeah.
And was able to?
Exactly. Like you could say, I could run much faster when I was younger.
Right.
Or you could say, I was able to run much faster when I was younger.
Yeah. So why even bother with be able to then?
That's a great question.
If can and could can usually do the job.
Well, there are a few reasons why be able to comes in handy.
Okay.
One reason is just that can and could are shorter and simpler.
Yeah.
So they often sound a bit more natural in everyday conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but be able to can sometimes sound a bit more formal.
I see.
So like if you're writing an academic paper or something, be able to might be a better choice.
Okay, so sometimes it's about choosing the right level of formality,
Right.
but it sounds like there are also times when you actually need to use be able to.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
Like it's not just a matter of style.
Sometimes it's grammatically necessary.
Okay, so when would that be?
So remember how we were talking about how can and could are kind of limited in terms of tenses?
Yeah.
Like they don't have a form for every single tense? Well, that's where be able to really shines.
Okay.
It can fill those gaps where can and could just don't work.
Gotcha. So it's like be able to is the more flexible option.
I don't like that. Yeah, it's like the Swiss Army knife of ability verbs.
Oh, I like that.
I can do it all.
Can you give us a specific example of when we'd absolutely need be able to?
Yeah, definitely. So let's think about the present perfect tense.
Okay.
You can say something like, he's been able to swim since he was 2 years old.
Right.
But there's no way to express that exact meaning using just can or could.
Yeah, I can't think of how you would do that.
You can't say like he has can swim or something like that.
It just sounds so wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't work grammatically.
Right.
So be able to steps in and saves the day.
It's like the superhero of grammar.
Exactly.
And it's not just the present perfect,
Right.
right?
Nope. There are other situations, too.
What about when you have verbs that need that ing form?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about gerunds.
Yeah, gerund.
Where the verb acts like a noun. So, like, you could say, I like being able to choose my own working hours.
Right.
After the verb, like, you need that gerund being.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no equivalent using can or could.
Yeah, I like canning to choose sounds totally off.
Right. It's just not grammatically correct.
Okay, so be able to is essential in those situations where can and could just aren't grammatically possible.
Yeah, it's like the grammar police come in and say, nope, you need to be able to here.
All right, now let's tackle the past tense
Okay.
because it feels like this is where things can get a little bit more tricky.
It can be, yeah. Especially when we start talking about the difference between could and was able to, or even managed to.
Right, like we said earlier, sometimes those seem interchangeable, but sometimes they're not.
Exactly.
So how do we know when to use which one?
Okay, so we talked about how we use could for general past abilities, right?
Like I could run fast when I was younger.
Exactly. But when we're talking about a specific instance of ability in the past, like one specific event, that's where it gets interesting. Often in positive sentences, could isn't the best choice for those specific moments.
Our source has this perfect example.
Oh, yeah.
It says, the traffic was really bad, but we could catch our train.
Okay.
And at first glance, that might seem okay,
Yeah.
but our material says it's actually not quite right.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because catching that specific train was like a one-time event.
Ah,
It wasn't a general ability, it was a specific thing that happened in the past.
right.
So for those kinds of situations, we should use was were able to or managed to.
Okay.
So the correct way to say it would be, the traffic was really bad, but we were able to catch our train. Or the traffic was really bad, but we managed to catch our train.
Gotcha.
Both of those highlight that you were able to overcome the obstacle of the bad traffic.
So for specific events in the past, we should use were able to or managed to
Exactly.
instead of could.
Yeah, in positive sentences.
Right, positive sentences.
And I think that's a really important distinction. It's like the difference between saying, I could play the piano as a child.
Uh-huh.
That's a general skill.
Yeah.
Versus saying, I was able to play that difficult piece last night.
Oh, that's a good example.
That's a specific accomplishment.
Exactly.
Can you give us maybe a couple more examples of those specific past abilities?
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
really illustrate it.
So imagine someone saying, it was hard work, but we managed to finish everything on time.
Okay.
They're talking about a specific event of finishing everything on time,
Right.
not just their general ability to get things done. Or you could have someone say, our car broke down on the way, but luckily I was able to fix it.
Okay.
Again, they're talking about a specific moment in the past.
Right. Fixing the car at that specific time.
Exactly.
Okay. So to sum up for positive sentences where you're talking about a specific past event,
Yeah.
we should lean towards was or able to or managed to
Mm-hmm.
rather than could.
Makes sense.
But now I remember our source also mentioned an exception to this rule.
Oh, right. There's always an exception, isn't there?
Always an exception.
What's the exception this time?
This one has to do with negative sentences.
Okay, interesting.
So this whole idea of general versus specific past situations,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't actually apply when your sentence is negative.
Oh, so it only matters in positive senses.
It seems that way.
Huh, okay.
In negative past sentences, couldn't, weren't able to, mean basically the same thing.
So it doesn't matter if I'm talking about a general inability or a specific event.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So even if we go back to that traffic example,
Huh.
if we make it negative, both forms would be correct.
Okay, let me try it out.
Yeah.
The traffic was really bad and we couldn't catch our train.
Purse.
Or the traffic was really bad and we weren't able to catch our train.
Both of those are grammatically correct.
So in negative sentences, I don't have to worry about whether it was a general or specific event.
Right. It's a free-for-all.
Haha. Love it when grammar gives us a break.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to recap this whole past tense situation.
Okay, let's recap.
Generally, could and was or able to are pretty similar.
Mm.
But for positive sentences about specific past events, it's better to use was or able to or managed to.
Gotcha.
And in negative sentences, you don't have to worry about that distinction.
So couldn't and weren't able to are both good.
Exactly.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
And you know what?
Right.
If you're ever unsure in the past tense, our source gives this great advice.
Oh, what's that?
Just use be able to.
Oh, that's a good tip.
It's always a safe bet.
Like a grammar safety net.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'll keep that in mind.
All right, so we've covered can't, could, and be able to.
Yeah, we've hit all the big ones.
But we should also talk a little bit more about could.
Oh, yeah, there's more to it.
Because it's not just a simple past tense of can.
Right. Could has some tricks up its sleeve.
It does.
It's a bit of a shapeshifter.
Yeah. Our source gives these two examples. I couldn't help you because I had too much to do.
And I couldn't help you even if I wanted to.
Interesting.
So both sentences use couldn't.
Uh-huh.
But the meaning is a little bit different in each one.
It does feel different.
Yeah, so how can we unpack that?
Okay, so in that first sentence, I couldn't help you because I had too much to do, couldn't, is expressing a past inability.
Okay.
Like you weren't able to help because you were busy.
Right.
If we were to rephrase that sentence using be able to, we would say, I wasn't able to help you because I had too much to do. So in that case, couldn't is pretty straightforward.
Just stating a fact about the past.
Exactly.
But then we have that second sentence. I couldn't help you even if I wanted to.
Right. That one feels different.
And that's because in that sentence, couldn't has a hypothetical or conditional meaning.
Oh, so it's not about what actually happened in the past.
Not exactly. It's more about what would or wouldn't be possible.
I see.
Like it's suggesting a lack of ability even in a different situation.
Okay, so like even if things were different, you still wouldn't be able to help. So it's like you're imagining a different reality.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
If we used a form of be able to here, it would be something like, I wouldn't be able to help you even if I wanted to.
So the even if part really signals that it's a hypothetical situation.
Exactly. It's like you're saying, okay, let's pretend that I did want to help.
Uh-huh.
I still wouldn't be able to.
Because of whatever other limitations are in play.
Right.
Gotcha.
So we have couldn't for a past inability, which is basically the same as weren't able to.
Right.
And then we have couldn't for this hypothetical meaning.
Which is more like wouldn't be able to.
Exactly.
And how do we know which one is meant?
Our source gives us a couple more examples that I think help clarify this.
Okay. I'm all here.
So they have the question, why couldn't he do it last week?
Okay.
Now, that time marker last week makes it clear that we're talking about a past inability.
Yeah, it's about something that happened or didn't happen in the past.
Exactly. But then they have another sentence, we could work together if you wanted.
Ah, now that one feels different.
Right, because of the if you wanted part.
Yeah, it's like a condition.
Exactly. So in that case, could has that hypothetical meaning.
It's like a possibility depending on whether the other person wants to do it.
Right. So the context really matters.
It seems like context is key with could.
It really is.
You really have to pay attention to the surrounding words to figure out what could is really trying to say.
Yeah, like, is it talking about something in the past or is it imagining something hypothetical?
That's a good way to put it.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. I feel like my brain is full.
Let's just do a quick recap of all the key takeaways.
Yeah, good idea.
So we started with can and could. Remember, can is for general abilities in the present or the future.
Like what you're able to do right now or what you'll be able to do later.
Exactly. And then could is for general abilities in the past.
Like things you were capable of doing over a period of time.
Right. And then we talked about be able to.
Yeah, that one's a little trickier.
It is, but it's also super useful.
Totally.
Be able to is our go-to when can or could don't have the right tense.
Like the present perfect.
Yeah, or when you need that ing form after certain verbs.
I like those gerunds.
So be able to is kind of like our backup.
It's always there to help us out.
And then we got into the nitty-gritty of the past tense.
Oh, yeah, that was a fun one.
So remember, could and was were able to often have similar meanings.
Yeah.
But when you have a positive sentence about a specific past event, it's usually better to use was or able to or managed to.
Okay.
But don't forget that exception for negative sentences.
Oh, right. And negative sentences couldn't and weren't able to are both fine.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it was a general or specific event.
Okay. Good to know.
And, of course, if you're ever unsure of the past tense, be able to is always a safe choice.
My new best friend, be able to.
Ah, exactly.
Okay, what was the last thing we talked about?
Oh, right. The two meanings of could.
Oh, yeah, that tricky little word.
So it can be used for past inability, which is basically the same as was or able to. But it can also have this hypothetical meaning.
Like wouldn't be able to.
Right. So pay close attention to context.
Always.
To figure out which meaning is intended.
Context is king.
It really is.
Yeah.
So mastering all these little details might seem like a small thing,
Yeah.
but it can really help you sound more natural and confident in your English.
Oh, definitely like a native speaker.
Exactly, which I think is what a lot of people are aiming for.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not just about sounding more natural.
No.
It's also about understanding the language on a deeper level.
Oh, interesting.
So here's a final thought for you to take away.
Okay.
Now that you have a better grasp of these verbs of ability, try to pay closer attention to how they're used out in the real world,
Oh, yeah.
like in conversations you hear or things you read or listen to.
Good idea.
And try to notice those subtle differences in meaning.
Like when someone uses could versus was able to.
Exactly. That kind of active observation can really help you solidify your understanding.
I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, me too.
What stands out to you now, thinking back on all this?
That's a good question.
Like, was there ever a time you used could when maybe was able to would have been more precise?
Ooh. Yeah, I can definitely think of a few instances.
I bet it happens more often than we realize.
Yeah, I think so.
This has been really helpful.
I agree. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Anytime.
I think we were able to shed some light on these tricky verbs.
We did good work today.
Right, until next time.
See you later.